Live from Siouxland's news source, this is KTIV News 4.
Snow is beginning to fall in the Sioux City metro and is already creating some travel concerns.
I'll take a look at radar and road conditions coming up in just a little bit.
Plus tonight, we're going to take a look at the current road conditions as Siouxlanders are facing blizzard conditions right now across the metro. And when do snowplows come and hit the roadways? We're going to have an update on what those essential workers are doing as they prepare for the night ahead. Good evening. It is a First Alert Weather Day. Blizzard warnings are in effect right now for much of Siouxland. Now conditions are becoming worse and high winds are moving across the area. I'm Jessica Bowman. We're live tonight bringing you top story coverage on the impacts we are feeling in Siouxland. Happening now, snow is falling across the tri-state and we are seeing those wind gusts really begin to pick up. Now this is a live view of conditions right now from the KTIV camera network, and you can definitely see the difference from northeast Nebraska stretching to northwest Iowa. We have live Team 4 coverage across Siouxland as essential workers are preparing for the worst but hoping for the best. Our team is bringing you the newest updates on the winter storm hitting your community. So first, let's get the new data coming into the First Alert Weather Center. Our First Alert Weather team, of course, tracking the storm. So what new information can you give us at this hour? Owen, Elizabeth?
Yeah, Jessica, the snow has really started here in the Sioux City area, call it over the last hour, but then for those of you in Western Siouxland, been kind of seeing it for a while this afternoon here.
Yeah, seeing that snow, especially over in places like in Wayne, Nebraska. We've seen that on our camera all day, and we've continued to see that. There's another look at that camera network. We're going to see that snow continue to push to the east as well. Take a look now at satellite and radar. You can see we have that rain going on over in eastern Siouxland, but that mixed precipitation and snow is really beginning to take over, especially in the Sioux City metro area and points west of I-29. Kind of scoping that out if this will shift for us. There we go. Taking a wider look, you can see just across the upper Midwest. Lots going on to talk about. Visibility significantly reduced across the area. A lot of us down to less than a mile of visibility at this time. Currently, if these graphics will get going for us, I'm going to actually have to pass this to Owen because it looks like it's not going to shift forward. But there we go, some wind gusts right now, seeing between 30 and 40 mile per hour wind gusts, really going to blow that around at this current time. Temperature is sitting in those mid 30s for a lot of us and continuing to drop, which is where we'll see more of that rain shift to snow. It is a First Alert Weather Day because of that rain shift to snow. Wind gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour possible and blizzard conditions tonight and into tomorrow. So now I'm going to pass it on over to Owen, who's going to go over all of the watches and warnings that we've got going on in effect for the area. Owen?
Yeah, that's right, Elizabeth. We have had blizzard warnings actually issued throughout the morning hours, and now we are still seeing those widespread. Those are for those of you in the orange counties, and then we have a light blue. Those of you are under a winter weather advisory right now. And then as we check out our high wind warnings, a vast majority of the areas under a high wind warning with those wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour coming up in just a little bit. I'll time out your evening and overnight hours.
All right, Owen, thanks for the latest update. And of course, we want to show you what the roads look like right now. Let's go ahead and send things down to Taylor Deckert. She's standing by tonight in Union County, South Dakota.
Yes, Jessica, we are currently on I-29 in Jefferson, South Dakota is where we just came off the exit. I want to show you these current conditions right now. You're taking a look at I-29. The roads are extremely slick and there is just snow covering the roads. Now, what has been interesting, we are going about 45 miles an hour. We were passed by two semis going extremely fast. Now, that is something pretty dangerous on these roads. Here you can see we are going into that change where it is going to be 65 miles an hour right now. You can also see there's some plow trucks out right now. People have their hazards on, and we're going really slow. You can also hear the snow is kicking up underneath us. Now, sharing the roads with semis is extremely important because they are also trying to get to where they need to go.
Give those trucks room. Give them space. If you see them moving left or right, even in their lane, but you can see they're fighting to keep that truck level and in position, it's best to back off and give them that space.
Now, let's talk wind speeds. Truckloads start moving around at 40 miles an hour with the wind. At 60 mile an hour winds, even a loaded trailer can have issues. Truck drivers are often fighting that wind that can cause a sudden change in wind pressure.
Buildings, groves of trees, cuts of the hill. and that can cause a sudden change of that wind pressure. If it's 40 mile an hour and it's a side wind, you come over that hill, boom, it hits you very hard. As going into it, it can all of a sudden quit.
Bates says a sudden gust of wind can cause even a driver to overcorrect. Now, we've been fighting some winds here on I-29, and the person in front of us is doing exactly the right thing, putting some hazards on, taking it slow. We have our hazards on so other people can see us. We're also following AAA with the advice to drive with a distance of 8 to 10 seconds in between, keeping a distance between us and any other vehicles like plows on the road. But for now, we're gonna cut back to you guys in the studio. Taylor Decker, back to you, Jessica.
All right, Taylor, and as we continue our coverage, emergency management, of course, speaking out and wanting you to know they will be monitoring radar and snow amounts with representatives from different departments. Now, our team able to speak with the Woodbury County Emergency Management today, and they say they will have spotters on the ground reporting what the conditions are like. Now, that information will then be relayed back to the department heads, such as those managing the plows, to make decisions based on the current conditions. Falling branches, right now, that is the biggest threat to a power outage, according to officials there. And they say if there is a power outage, they do not expect it to last more than a day.
Hopefully, power should be back on within a couple of hours. I actually don't expect, because of the temperatures, that people would lose a whole lot of heat. If it looks like we're going to have an extended power outage, we'll go ahead and basically make some plans for people to go somewhere to stay warm.
And leaders there at the emergency management say you can download the Alert Iowa app to receive emergency alerts. And we're tracking the latest conditions. Let's go across the river now into South Sioux City. RJ, you were able to actually speak with South Sioux City Emergency Management. So what are they stressing to residents tonight?
Yeah, that's right, Jessica. And just out here, I'm sure you can already see it just blowing right across my face, how hard that wind is and how much that snow is coming down out here in South Sioux City. Just to give you an idea of some of that visibility, if you look behind me, we're right in front of the Missouri River. You may be able to distantly see I-29 there and maybe even the Tyson Event Center. But Dakota County Emergency Management has been preparing throughout the day based on predicted conditions with the snow and these blizzard-like conditions. But one thing that Dakota County Emergency Manager Deanna Hagberg can't stress enough is to call your utility provider if your power goes out.
Do not call our 911 or our communication center here at the Law Enforcement Center. They do not have that information. You need to look and see who services you and call their 24-hour number. That's the best way to do it. They'll get your information and then they know where you're located and you'll get service faster that way.
And coming up tonight at 6, we'll have more tips from Deanna Hagberg and the Dakota County Emergency Management Department, as well as current conditions here in South Sioux City. Jessica.
All right, right now we want to see what the conditions are like in the Iowa Great Lakes. Let's head on up to Okoboji. Ellen Ide, what is it looking like tonight in the Iowa Great Lakes?
Jessica, it has been a rainy, gloomy day all day here at the Iowa Great Lakes, and that's still what we're seeing right now. Now, it brought some much needed precipitation, but all that rain does add additional challenges to road maintenance later tonight. As temperatures continue to drop, this rain will turn into sleet, creating extremely slippery conditions. Now, combined with the blizzard conditions headed our way, officials from the Iowa Department of Transportation urge motorists to stay off the roads if possible. Conditions like we're anticipating are known to cause road closures in areas of southern Minnesota just a few miles to our north. While closing roads is not a common practice here in northwest Iowa, that does not make them safe. That being said, the Iowa DOT will be doing their best to keep roads passable.
The biggest challenge is we can't do any pre-treating. Like on a normal storm, if we know it's coming at 5 or 6 o'clock, we could treat pre-treat our critical areas like our four-way stops and our curves and whatnot before the storm. It buys us a little bit of time.
Crews will be out checking conditions as soon as the snow flies, and they'll keep plows on the roads through the day tomorrow. Now, if staying home isn't an option and you have to be out on the roads, we will have some added tips to stay safe and plan a safe route. But for now, I'll send it back to the studio.
All right, of course, our KTIV Team 4 working across Siouxland to bring you the newest updates across the area because, as Ellen mentioned, if you can, it is best to stay inside tonight. Essential workers already, we're getting reports that multiple wrecks have happened across Siouxland due to the weather conditions. So again, this is something to where if you can stay home, definitely do so because the road conditions are continuing to get worse. And as we talk about snow plows, as soon as the snow begins to stick to the ground, the Iowa DOT says it will send out 16 snow plows, and plows will be out for 24 hours, clearing the interstate from Sioux City to Sloan until roads are clear in that particular part of Woodbury County. Of course, they'll continue to be out across the entire state. Now, if the visibility gets to a point where drivers just can't see, they will pull off the road and wait until the winds die down. Now, the Iowa DOT Highway Maintenance Supervisor locally says he wants drivers to remember the importance of not getting too close to snow plows on the interstate.
Always stay behind at least 50 feet. Don't try to pass a plow because we have wings on both sides of the trucks. So you don't know, maybe you won't be able to see that wing and you're going to crash into it.
And he says drivers should slow down and understand that snow plows are going at a slow speed. And if you can, avoid getting out and driving. He says that's really his best advice. If you can, stay home.
Well, snow has started to take over Siouxland here over the last hour.
Yeah, it really has, especially as those temperatures are dropping. A lot of us now down into the lower 30s, which is where we're seeing that transition to sleet and then eventually to snow, which is causing a lot of chaos out on the roads in Siouxland. Taking a look at current road conditions, a lot of us seeing partially to completely covered roads, especially out to the west where that snow is already falling. So, Owen, what else can we expect?
Yeah, we're seeing those partially covered roads right now, but that transition is happening here as we speak, something we've been talking about over the last couple of days. This rain changing over to snow with those winds, not quite 60 miles per hour right now, but lots of us are close to that 40-mile-per-hour mark, creating those blizzard conditions not only tonight, but potentially also into tomorrow morning. Here's what the satellite and radar is looking like right now. Here's that band of snow trying to push off to the east. I don't think all of this is falling to the ground as snow quite yet, especially for those of you in northwestern Iowa, but that's going to be a trend for those of you in eastern and southern Siouxland over the next couple of hours. Still seeing that band of snow here stretching across most of the central portions of our area right now, and it will continue to fall over the next handful of hours as temperatures continue to fall as well. Now 33 here in Sioux City, 32 Wayne, 31 degrees there in Yankton, but where it's still raining, temperatures are still above freezing right now. I mentioned those wind gusts in the 40 to 50 mile per hour range. One of the stronger gusts I've seen so far, Norfolk at 52 miles per hour. Here in Sioux City, currently gusting to 43. And speaking of Wayne and those blizzard-like conditions, here's the view out in Wayne right now. We have partially covered roads and snow is falling at a decent clip here right now. Here's a view from our Blackbird Bend Casino cam right now with those low clouds causing some low visibility, but can clearly see that white ground already taking over there. We do have a blizzard warning in effect for a vast majority of the area. That includes all the counties in orange right now. A handful of you are still under winter weather advisories, but impacts are still expected even if you're not under a blizzard warning right now, because all of us under a high wind warning through tomorrow with blizzard conditions expected and wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. So tracking out the rest of your night, we'll have the snow continue to push off to the east through the evening hours, and eventually those of you in far eastern Siouxland will start to see that transition to snow. Call it about 7 or 8 o'clock, and it's right when that snow starts to transition. It's when you will see the heaviest snow. Once you get towards about 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning, I expect that a snow line will be east of I-29, but we could still have a few lingering snow showers throughout the morning hours tomorrow, wrapping up by about 9 or 10 o'clock. So when all is said and done with the snow amounts, I expect they'll be highest off to the east, where over 5 inches of snow is possible. Here along 29 and towards the Highway 81 corridors is where I'm expecting maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow. But it's not going to be the snow amounts that are really the impactful part of the storm, as we've been harping on for a while now. It's going to be those very strong wind gusts. Here's what the winds could be gusting like at 7 p.m. this evening in that 50 to maybe even 60 mile per hour range. And winds are going to continue to stay gusty all night long, 50, maybe even 60 miles per hour, even into your Wednesday morning as well. Those winds are going to stay strong. It's not until we get into the afternoon hours of Wednesday when those start to die down just a little bit, maybe in that 30 to 40 mile per hour range, but still going to be awfully windy. Here's a look at your forecast for tonight. Low temperatures will be down into the 20s, and blizzard conditions are definitely going to continue. with wind gusts over 50 miles per hour. Tomorrow, we're expecting that blowing snow. Even after the snow stops, we are still expecting that snow to blow around, and that is why tomorrow is also a first alert weather day. As we look at your 10-day forecast, we'll have a brief break on Thursday, but it's not going to last for long because snow will return to the forecast Thursday night and into Friday morning. So yes, there's no rest for the weary here as we get a very brief break there for a little bit of time on Thursday, but another chance for snow comes in on Friday. And then check out that weekend forecast. Both days pretty quiet into the 40s and 50s.
Yeah, and so blizzard conditions continue across much of Siouxland. We're also seeing that high wind warning in effect, right?
Exactly, yeah. Wind gusts will stay pretty strong, up to 60 miles per hour over the next, call it 12 hours.
Yeah, and y'all been working so hard. I know our viewers appreciate it because we're just continuing to update them. We want everyone to be safe on the roads, Elizabeth.
Yeah, definitely, especially with that blowing snow continuing tomorrow for much of the day. You're going to want to take precaution even when it's falling now, but especially tomorrow too.
All right, thanks for the update. Don't forget, download that First Alert weather app.
From Siouxland's news source, Jessica Bowman and Chief Meteorologist Rhonda Mars. This is KTIV News 4, live at 5.
And we're continuing to follow other stories making news across Siouxland. Electric buses in the fleet. We're going to take you to Sioux City Community School District with more on its plans to put those buses in operation. Stay with us.